Good afternoon, Knicks Nation. Today is Friday, August 11th, 2023. I hope you're enjoying your Friday. Happy Friday to you, and that you have some good weekend plans lined up, and that your family's safe and healthy. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are trying to save lives, along with those that pick up garbage for us to keep our streets and sidewalks clean and disease-free, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover teenagers and children who are the unfortunate victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People who are also the victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators of these things, double curses on those who profit from these things, and double curses on the perverts of these things. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So, brethren, a couple things. We're going to talk more about this on Sunday, but I wanted to go over it today. There is, I feel like, the media pushes a reliance on what I'm calling the Blockbuster mentality. What do I mean by that? It seems that everybody in Knicks Nation is itching for some sort of trade. Now, whenever I talk about trades, I'm dealing with a strategic move, an OG Anunoby, Kristaps Porzingis, a Mikal Bridges. I'm looking for a strategic move to fit within our team without totally breaking up our team. I'm not looking for a superstar. None of the guys I just mentioned will be classified as superstars. But there seems to be an over-reliance on, let's trade all these pieces we developed and get a superstar. First of all, in most recent championships, that doesn't work. You need to develop a team. And if a superstar wants to join your team because they feel like they're the final piece, then you make a deal, and even then you don't give away most of your team that you developed. But the Knicks are not that team. First of all, every year there's groups of people that don't have much sense that talk a lot of foolishness. First year under Tom Thibodeau, they were going to be losing team. They're going to be a lottery team. Some persons was talking about they weren't even going to win 15 games. And of course, out of 72 games, they won 41, fourth in the East. Second year, people were excited because we had a couple of shooters and thought we were going to get all that. But those two guys weren't fitting, that is Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier, weren't fitting Tom Thibodeau's style, not the type of players he wants on his team. They still won 37 games, which prior to Tom Thibodeau, they were winning 17, 21, 22 games. Then last year, they started forming into the team that Tom Thibodeau wants. And he made sure that by benching Evan Fournier, they traded Kemba Walker, they benched Derrick Rose, who's past his prime, in favor of younger players. And then, excuse me if I'm sweating because I just finished doing my workout, but then they went on to be fifth in the Eastern Conference. Okay? And every year, last year, somebody was accusing them of being a middling, that's the term, middling team. They're going to be stuck in the middle. And that was pretty stupid because, once you're at the bottom, as the Knicks were, in order to get to the top, you got to go through the middle. This is year 4. And so the Knicks overall have been developing, doing exactly what they should do the right way, drafting and developing, adding pieces through free agency and trades that strategically fit what they're doing overall. Okay? Now everybody's talking about let's trade these guys and get a superstar. That would be stupid. That would be what they tried to do in the past to get a quick fix. That is not this year's team. This team that the Knicks have developed over the last 4 years is more akin with the 2004 Detroit Piston team. That team basically had a bunch of leftover spare parts and two guys that they actually drafted in Mamek Okfor and Tayshaun Prince. Everybody else was spare parts from other teams. Chauncey Billups was on his last chance. Hadn't been with like 3 teams prior to that. And they went to the finals. Okay? They developed, went to the finals. The Knicks, I feel like, can be even better because we have more of our own homegrown talent. We still got a defensive coach like Larry Brown was and Tom Thibodeau. And we got very similar parts than as Detroit had. So, that is nobody. I mean, I could speak for everybody on this one. Nobody knows what the Knicks are going to be. Nobody does. We do know for a fact that over the last 3 years, they have a winning record. We do know for a fact that out of 2 of the 3 last years, they were in top 5. We do know for a fact that Tom Thibodeau was coach of the year with the Knicks in his first season. We do know for a fact that the Knicks have taken Julius Randle from a guy with just candy stats to a 2-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA. These are facts. These are not guesses. This is what happened in the last 3 seasons. Some of you act like it didn't, but it did. And so now we're at a point where the youngins that we drafted in Emmanuel Quickley, in Quentin Grimes, in Mitchell Robinson, R.J. Barrett, the youngins that we drafted, the Knicks drafted, are now getting into veteran status and still not yet in their primes. So you got plus the strategic additions of a Josh Hart, okay, strategic addition of a Dante DiVincenzo. We don't yet know what this team will be. People crying for a power forward. Let's let this team play first before you start whining about what we don't have. Because we don't know how far this team could go. It is expected, as I expect, that they will be top 6 in the East. I expect top 5, actually, and possibly even higher, top 4, depending on what happens with teams ahead of them with injuries and all that. We're going to see. But let's let it happen before we start talking about making rules. Some people talk about trading IQ at the trade deadline. First of all, this man was runner-up for 6th man of the year last year. This man has ability to start for many NBA teams. The Knicks should do everything they can to keep him. First off, we got him guaranteed for the whole season. He's an important piece of what the Knicks do. Why would they lose that at the trade deadline? For what? No, they're not trading Emmanuel Quickley at the trade deadline. No. They're going to run this team all the way through. They're not going to get OG Anunoby this season. Sorry. If they were going to do that, that ship has sailed. Okay, that ship has sailed. So now we're dealing with, and of course, KP's off the table. And the Nets have taken Mikal Bridges off the table. So those ships are gone. Right now, the focus is getting ready for the season. Not trying to add any quick parts at the end, which would mess everything up. Use the continuity strength to move forward. And let's see what this team could do. Let's see what we got. You got too many people trying to make negative predictions all the time for the Knicks, calling themselves Knicks fans. They need to really go somewhere else and go root for Brooklyn or something. But for the true Knicks fan, we root for our squad. And we know what our squad could do based on the last 3 years, based on this current regime. So now we got to let them go ahead and do it. Let's see what happens. Okay? And just because if they do go with what I'm predicting to become top 3, top 4, top 5 in the East, that still doesn't mean you go and trade anybody. Let's see what we can do. Let's see this team gel. Again, you got a bunch of players. And R.J. Barrett, you know, he's what, 24, 25? IQ 24? Grimes 23, 24? You got a bunch of guys that's a couple of seasons away from their primes. There is no telling what any of these guys can become. You could have an all-star in Quentin Grimes, but you won't know it unless you let him play. And I'm hoping they get him more involved this year. Okay? We still don't know what R.J. Barrett can become. He might already reach his prime. We don't know, but we got to let him play. Okay? I think we got another Ben Wallace, though. in mid-round. Very similar. Very similar player. Okay? Now, I would not mistake Julius Randle for Rashid, but Julius, again, he doing this thing. 25 and 10. I don't think Rashid ever did that. So, let's forget the blockbuster. Forget the let's go get a superstar mentality. That's played out. The Knicks are developing the right way. Finally, long-term sustainable win has come to New York and Madison Square Garden. Let's enjoy that. All of y'all into the Las Vegas stuff, the quick fix, the NBA 2K, the let's trade, get the blockbuster, Mark Berman, go to Florida, go to Las Vegas, do that. But let the rest of us enjoy this team, because I think they're going to give us a product on the court that's enjoyable. I know myself, seen too many products that was so bad you got to turn TV off. This team gives you something to cheer about, gives you some hope, has a track record of development and moving forward. Forget the blockbuster. We good. We just need to let these cats play. And after they play, if there's a glaring weakness, that can't be fixed from within, then we could talk about a trade. But that situation is not going to be made manifest until next spring. So let's let it go. Okay? Plus, the Knicks got a plethora still of draft capital. We're in a very good shape. This is the year right here to let them play and see what you got. This is the year right here. Okay? Because if it falls, if the bottom drops out, I don't think it will, but if it did, you're in good position to make moves that you might need to make to recover or regroup. The Knicks are in an excellent position to do that. Better position than a lot of teams with all the draft capital and young players we got. But for right now, I say let's let the kids play. We've been whining for them to play for a few years. Now they're going to play. The only ones that's outside that looking in is my man Deuce. But we're going to see even how that works out. It's a long season. Going to see how that works out. But other than that, we're in good shape. Grimes is starting. IQ is going to be the sixth man. We got Hartenstein coming off the bench. Julius is going to be back healthy. We're hoping RJ takes a step forward. We got Brunson, who is really, going into superstar status if he continues what he did last year. We're in good shape. And then we got Dante. We've got something to prove coming to the Knicks with his Villanova crew. So we got something to prove. On top of that, as you all might have found out, I told y'all the Don don't play. I told y'all the Don strikes again. Some of y'all, when I said that, was looking for some blockbuster. But what I really meant was that 4-year, $81 million deal is not really 4-year, $81 million, as I told y'all. It's really 3 years, $58 million, which is really nice. And then a 4th-year team option, which, unless Hart becomes like a hero in the finals, that ain't never going to be exercised. Anyway, y'all enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Shalom.